Hi Shilpa,
Hi, Malvika.
how are you? So good.
I'm
I
good. Yes.
I have been, looking forward to this day since so long, and I have been asking the universe, you, myself, your body, my body, for us to create this space, and finally we are here today. Uh,
Finally, and I thought it would be so simple. Yeah, acha, of course we'll do an interview. Why not? And I don't believe it has taken us 2 weeks
to finally reach this space of ease,
and
joy,
choose
joy.
this. Yes, yes. And we thought it would be so simple, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was difficult, but it it's right time when it is right time. That's all
You
I
know,
can say.
I totally agree with you because the universe creates when it chooses to create, right? And today,
Yes.
when you called me, can we do it today? And it was so fast, fast, fast today, right? Because it was meant to happen today. So thank you, universe. Let's begin on that note. And
Yes.
hey guys, welcome to the Malvika Madan Talk Show. This is episode number 1. And my dear friend who started off in my life as a client. And I don't know where that word vanished out of our lives in the last decade, Shilpa. We've known each other, right?
Really, yes.
And that client word feels like a gali today. Right?
It
Right.
does. It
It
does.
does, yeah.
Yes.
And the relationship, the camaraderie, the joyfulness of having each other's back, without a judgment, in a total judgment-free zone, is what I would call this joy of relationship and creationship that we share. And who better to begin a journey, a new journey with than you, Shilpa? Because I have been asking this from the universe for quite some time now. The Malvika Madan Talk Show is something, this was a name that was pinging in my head for quite some time. The
Hmm.
space of it got created now, right? And rather, I think the space got created 15 days ago when, for the first time, I put that thought in your universe. Ki, would you be keen
Yes.
on doing something like this with me? And the idea of we both coming on the same page with not scripting it, not planning anything about it, because it is energy work at the end of the day. We
Yes.
were not desirous. Both of us were on the same page that let's just flow with the energy. And
Absolutely.
thank you for being there with that energy, Shilpa, because uh, though I asked you that question, but had you said a yes to it, I would have said no to the interview. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
No.
but yeah, the joy of being in the energy of you in this moment is what I'm desiring.
Yes.
To all listening to it, whenever in the future they will listen to it, because we are not on a live, we will record it and put it up various places. Let's ask for the universe to create and contribute to each one's life who chooses it whenever in the future they choose it.
Yes.
And on that note, Shilpa, I would like you to say whatever this energy is right now for you and where we start, and let's go with the flow of where we take it forward.
I'd say that it has been an absolute joy, and you know, I have always believed in energy exchange, right? And I'm a practicing Buddhist. I practice Nichiren Buddhism, and there's a concept called paying your debt of gratitude. So debt may sound like a heavy word otherwise, but when it is one filled with gratitude, it is, I think, a very joyous and extremely happy energy to exchange. You know? So, like you very rightly mentioned a while back, that are we've had each other's back a lot of times. And I'm very, very happy that, we have been granted the privilege of being able to do that. There are a lot of times that, you may choose to do something, you may desire to do something, but you have to wait for your time. And we've got ample space to do that for each other. So it's an absolute pleasure to be able to be here and talk to you, be on a platform where this would hopefully, and I'm rather sure that it will contribute to somebody else's life like mine. So
Thank you.
I'd rather prefer, Malvika, that you shoot your questions and then I'll find my way through answering them.
I'll do that. I'll do that because when we begin the conversation, from your conversation, the energy of a next question comes up, right?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
when you're talking of the trust, that is the first energy that came up in our conversation, right? So, how were you able to build up this trust on each other, on yourself? And what
Mm,
has taken us to a journey of a decade together? When you say that the debt of gratitude, what you talked about, right?
mm,
What brought me to was the awareness of we've shown up in each other's life because we have that debt karma from a past life pending with one another. That's why we are there in each other's life today, right?
yes, yes, yes.
So that gratitude, along with the trust that we build on not just each other, but the energies connected with us, whether it is our extended families, whether it is our work, whether it is our immediate families, and how you and me have taken that further with not just the tools of access consciousness, but us as the beings, right? Because if
Yes.
us as the beings don't choose it, then what change are we choosing to create? So,
Mm.
what choice of change brought you to this platform of, for example, just choosing this call? Let's keep it very simple for everyone to understand, right? So, what brought you to this platform of choosing this call? Let's start there.
So I'd say that it is a very pure energy of wanting to do this with my for my friend. When I have received so much, you want to give, and the more you give, the more you receive, has been my experience. One, two. I also feel that access is something that we have been working with recently. We've slowly built around it, and trust, like you said, has been the most single most contributing factor here, whichever modality that we have chosen. Today you are talking access, we have started probably with tarot, then we came to healing, which all of this exists. But I've seen you grow, I've seen your journey, uh, to be precise, from 2015, uh, with helping me with my spiritual practice of Nichiren Buddhism. And yet, for loss of better words, I'd say, you know, using these tools uh, to choose greater joy, happiness, support in the decision making, having, I'd say, having uh, it helped me with my practice of faith, you know. So, going back to what I started with, trust. I was extremely skeptical about talking to anybody about my problems, as a part of my core nature, that I'm more of a caregiver than a care receiver, and I have very few people whom I choose to receive care from, to a fault. And I see that with me. So, this whole aspect of being able to trust somebody else with my problems, not because I'm a control freak, I am not very comfortable with sharing my vulnerability with people. And I don't think that's an unintelligent thing to do, because a lot of times in our vulnerable moments we may stand to be misunderstood, we may stand to be misguided, even even taken advantage of to a certain extent. So all of this put together has led me to depend on myself. So I also feel talking to you through, taking guide, seeking guidance on certain modalities, using these tools. There were a lot of things that we did not vibe with, if you remember. A lot of modalities that you traveled with through this journey of 8 years, 9 years, whatever, 9 years now. That's short of a decade, like you mentioned. I have grown too with you, and I've seen you grow with me. And I say it in a singular way, though we are two of us, is because going back to that thing of having each other's back. So the trust is what led to opening my heart out. The trust is what led to letting you choose what we need to do. Trust in our friendship led to me telling you, no, I don't think this is working with me. It doesn't vibe with me. Trust is what led me. Access is something I have taken to very slowly. It has corrected the mind chatter that I have in my mind, which is extremely disturbing for me to this date, where I say I desire to or I choose to do certain things. I implemented choosing people, choosing jobs, choosing myself, even over my children at times. So, this is how it has been. I know I'm speaking very broad spectrum, but I'll leave you to do the specific.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Shilpa, because that pulls another energy with the whole communication. Uh, what has your change been in the last 3 years that we started playing with the access tools with receiving?
So, like I said, it is not just the mind chatter, it's also how my mouth chatters. Each time I want to shift my energy, of course, like I said, I'm a person of faith, but I'm not a person of religion completely, in the sense that I'm not ritualistic. But I absolutely believe that you are what you do, and you are also 100% what you say. So I was never somebody to say I'm very unlucky. I never get lucky with this. Or in fact, I've always been seeing a lot of, receiving from everywhere, whether if you call them gods, goddesses, angels, the universe, the God that we believe in, or the Gonzon that I worship as a practicing Buddhist. But changing my language and words, and so my thought, has just been immensely contributing to my life. Also, putting the exact words where I think, oh, what am I learning out of this? What has this come to taught me? I have just started to ask, what is so right about this? And
Yes.
okay, if this is this, what else is possible? These are my favorite, I'm telling you. Each and every time I go back and ask, and I have not, how I have a 21-year-old son, I have a 15-year-old daughter who's already 25 in her head, and each time I talk to them, I try not to lecture or to say, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that, but a simple thing of, again, if I say, what are you learning from this? It suddenly seems like a bad lesson. But the minute I say, "Ki, what is so right about this?" they start to think in that fashion. So I don't impose it, but I say it. So all of this has been extremely valuable in my secular world, outside of faith.
So, thank you for that, Shilpa, because using the tools of access consciousness to create the change that we have been desiring to create over, I will talk only of the last 2.5, 3 years that we have been using these tools, because today the guinea pig that we are using is access
Is that
consciousness.
access?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
So, you've not done a bars class till date,
No,
right?
no.
And we don't know when that's gonna show up. you have the inclination for it, but you've always said, "Ki whenever I will come to Mumbai, you will do it with me." Right? How much
Yes. And
ever
I have
I
to feel
have.
the calling for it. Yes.
Yes. Two. That's the next thing that I was gonna say. That with me also, it's not like you wanna do it with me. It's a forcible thing. I've given you
Right.
options of other facilitators in Mumbai, but you
Right.
were like, no, Malu, when my time will be right, when I will choose it, I will do it. Right?
Yeah.
And
But
yet,
I've had you do my clearings so many times.
yes. So we have majorly been playing with questions and clearings, isn't it?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So even with those tools, what is the magnanimity of change and especially being vulnerable? I understand that we have turned into friends over a period of time, but when we are doing a very professional thing, we both are in a very space of when you're talking of work, it has to be very professional. When I'm talking of my work, and when we are doing clearings, moving on to the energy of what your words are giving me, we create change, small changes, and yet over a period of time, they have built up into big changes in the last 2.5 years. Correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong anywhere, or
No.
there is no
Mhm.
right and wrong as we are aware of it, but the
Yeah.
energy flow of it is what broader spectrum has it brought in to showcase to you in your life, be it your money reality, be it your relationships, be it your workspace, be it simple things like parenting with your kids or working with your house help? I mean, I'm taking the simplest of examples. So, what do you
Hmm.
have to say about that?
So, I think from the smallest of situations, I wouldn't like to exactly call them challenges, but small situations, small things that you are dealing with in your everyday life can quickly escalate to being obstacles, challenges too, right? I'm a performing artist, and a lot of times, creative people are greatly challenged by the choice that they have to make uh, between something of pleasure and something of pesa. I call it my double P, pesa
Hmm,
and pleasure. So
hmm,
sometimes you may, is it when you talk of money reality, it has given me a wonderful insight into, first of all, moving, shifting everything to my advantage. The very question that is answered when I say what is so right about this, suddenly everything seems right about it, you know. And it may sound very fairy tale like,
hmm,
but in your deepest of challenges, for example, when you're choosing a character, you're choosing a role, uh, I've just learned to surrender because of it. Because I know that left to the universe, left to, this whole thing of energy push that you make me do, suddenly I'm depleted of all the fear. My negative, I know for sure, and I can say it proudly, my energy rarely goes to being negative. But I do operate from fear. I worry a lot. I feel, oh gosh, if I'm going to be traveling 55 kilometers one way from home every day for work. That's my reality right now. The new job
yeah.
that I've taken on, and it is one way. So I have to report for work, which is going to be 55 kilometers from my home. I have to report at 9 o'clock. Each day is going to be based on a lot of positive attitude, if I may call it, because Mumbai and our roads and the distances that we travel. So yes, what's right about it? I have learned to believe over these years that whatever is happening is definitely happening for my highest and greatest good, I would say. So earlier there was a lot of indecisiveness, which also persists today, but I'm learning to deal with it. So, like I said, going back to so that's about work, that if this has come up and this is the only choice which is there, If there's something else that didn't work out, I have to wait and see what was so right about this working out, you know, and to be able to do it joyfully and happily is extremely important. So in Buddhism, we call it our human revolution. That is fundamentally changing something. And I love Access because it is similar to the principles of this beautiful philosophy that I practice. So blending these tools, so a little bit of technicality in the spiritual realm and getting it to be doing it with Buddhism is what draws me to Access, is what I would say. It makes sense to me. I cannot do something without reason. Buddhism is, I have been practicing that for nearly 18 years, and that is reason I found Access to come very close to it, and it gives me joy. That's the bottom line. If I am dealing with my kids and I say, okay, what is so right about this? Okay, what else is possible? My yeah, kid is fighting an election at school, and if she has a tough time there, what is so right about it? Of course, it's helping her grow. It's shaping her like as a leader. If my son is, choosing to go to Hong Kong, and there is a huge challenge because, it could pose a financial threat. How could it happen? And I'd love to share this experience with you, where I went in completely with faith and believing in the principle of what is so right about this. When he chose Hong Kong, we were very excited. We were very happy. But what posed was this huge financial challenge, not an obstacle, not a burden. It was a challenge. And I'm so happy to share that, with a lot of faith, a lot of prayer, a lot of clearings for fear, and each time I'd worry, I'd pod pocket and say, no, this is just going to work out well. He stayed there for 6 months, not borrowed a single penny from home, and treated his sister to a fantastic holiday abroad, all at the age of 21. So in Buddhism, we believe in actual proof. With Access, I have got that. And what better than being joyous and leading every single day. So each day, new possibilities, and it is the possibility that keeps me going, not the guarantee. And that's not my quote, but it is the truth of my life.
Thank you for that, Shilpa. So, being being a facilitator in this realm with you, right? And facilitating this change together. Of course, some days you are my facilitator, some days I am facilitator, right? We
That's
always
about
have each
friendship.
other's
Yeah.
backs, right? So, have I ever been interfering, or have I ever told you anything about not taking your Buddhist practice ahead?
No, absolutely not. In fact, shouldn't it also be that way? What has been, like I said, I've been able to amalgamate beautifully these two things because the principles match a lot. That is by chance for you as an Access Bars facilitator. But I've also shared my practice with you, and we joyfully, joyfully experienced that in each other's lives. So, like Buddhism is about being a better Catholic, a better Hindu, or a better Sikh, or a better Muslim, I think Access functions on an absolutely different plane, but with the same principles and philosophies. This is
You changing
what
the
I
world.
feel and my observation. Okay, I would not claim that. For me, this is the beauty that I found. I found the benefit in both, and that's the value that I found in both.
So what you are saying is that none is contradicting with each other and none is interfering in each other's space, but you
And
are
nor
taking
did you.
both
Yeah,
along.
absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So, what change has all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory brought to your world? My next
Oh,
question.
that is the crux of it all. Everything and anything comes to me with ease and
Ease
joy and
and
glory.
glory.
And if I could say that, I'd even be afraid to say that. But I love being the.
Thank you for that. I was thinking, should I say this or
We'll
not?
do a
But
little.
thank you for saying that, Shilpa. The
So
joy.
I'll tell you how I have beautifully perceived this also. When you are, this is again, I'd say not just my experience, but this is my experience, not just my belief, but my experience also. That, you remember when we were kids, there was there were the Archies and the Archies Digest, and there was Sabrina,
Yeah.
the friendly witch.
You always said that to me.
So I feel very Sabrina-ish, why can't I? If I can be nice and I can, I find, then I
And
realize,
I
कुछ
am the
मन
witch
कह
on
तो
the
रही है.
broom in your life with that.
Me too. Me too. I have a personal one parked in my terrace right now.
I too.
So, yes. And I'd say that, I have been a don't get parking and I request the guy to move his car up ahead and I say, please, थोड़ा सा आगे ले लेंगे. And I'm like, हाँ, कर लिया उसने. From that to, because intent matters the most, right? And once that is clear and your heart is beautiful, why are you being? Are you doing it in a good way? Are you doing it to harm somebody else? No. It's better. It's high time.
The
It's high
kindness for
time.
self is what you are choosing,
And yes, and for others too, while doing it, we aren't harming anybody
harming
else.
anyone.
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So that's why I love and I look at her in the mirror and I also admire her. At the same time, it's so much joy when so many of the times that when there is for somebody else too. So if
Mm.
I'm going to be, I have a friend who has opened a restaurant and I want to help him out. And if I can use all of that in the good way,
Mm.
uh, the only word I don't like is, but I must confess, I feel every bit of it when I have to. In
Thank
the
you.
fun way, the joyous way that, if it's going to be, that's lucky, which is going to get the good for the and bestest, greatest good of another person, I'm all in for it.
Thank you for that, Shilpa.
It
Thank you
has to
for
be
that.
mutual, and I've always felt it. It is a win-win both ways. If
Yeah.
you're a rich, just to take, no, because giving is receiving, and I have each and every time, if I may use that word for loss of a better word, use energy. The I've always very, very lucky to have used it for myself while it benefits another person
The other
also. It has
person.
never been selfishly wanted. So
So
I love it.
that's contributing and gifting and receiving in
Absolutely.
simultaneity.
Yes. And so I have loved it. So
Yes.
I'll tell you a simple example from lay people like me who are probably listening to this. If
Mm.
I have received wonderfully from a friend and I have with an open heart chosen to receive it, I always make a note of being able to share it with somebody else.
Mm.
So in the beautiful way that I don't say no to gifts, but I
Mm.
also gift very generously
Yes.
in whatever way. In Marathi, there's a saying, if you can't gift a flower, at least gift a petal. So
Mm.
I have managed small flowers, big flowers at times. But
Mm.
yes, I have always managed to. It never is just this. It's always,
So sweet. That's a beautiful way of putting that across. Now, what expansiveness are you choosing with your work reality and
mm,
with your relationship reality, or rather, not just choosing for the future, but what have you created and you're ready to take it to the future? What changes? You spoke about kids, you spoke about your work, travel life, yes. But what else are you expanding into with the rawness of the energy without it being very conclusive?
so I'll tell you what happens is with our own little mind, our vast experiences, our you know, um, sometimes limited thinking. You only can think of certain possibilities. What I've learned to do uh, with you is explore the possibility of possibilities from everywhere. Let me explain this. I remember one session that we did together where, so I'll go back to being how frustrated a creative person can be. I want to be producing, I want to be acting, I want to do the best of roles, I want to do films down south, I want to do films in the Hindi industry. I have still not cracked it into the web scenario. All of this persists. But with the South industry, I remember one session that we did where, we traveled out out into outer space, not literally in with our energy, and we pulled work from everywhere.
Across the
It
planet.
was, I think, a month or two across the planet, and 1 or 2 months later, that the Telugu film that I did recently called Hi Nana
I know.
came up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
from the age of 24, I have been trying to set up a production house. So that possibility came up where I could be producing a Marathi play. And, work came up. Recently, I'm doing a TV show which has come. So, this is sounding very simple that this happened and that happened and that happened. I'd really like to mention that like everybody else's life, I've had my challenges. This constant work in on yourself with the help of your facilitator, with a friend like facilitator, using and accessing these tools which are available to you has led me here. While saying it is now, I did the Telugu film, I did the Hindi show, and there's so much more to be done. So actually thinking that, another thing I'd say that I'm not an underconfident person, but I do feel, oh, ye mujhe aata hai. This is what I can do well. And I've never thought beyond that, probably because my mind was cluttered with, my two children who are 6 years apart. So I got out of one, got into another one. I had them both before 30, and I always thought a work and that a career and children were possible. But then again, it was all like this in a straight
Peaky
line.
Blinders.
Mm. And now suddenly it is like, okay, that of course I can handle that. Of course I can do that. Okay, what are the possibilities with this? Oh, is it this? Absolutely, a restaurant, I can do it. And so this confidence, okay, the fear energy always plays. That's what we keep working on. What if I fail? What if I do? Because money is involved. So my energy around money is not so good. There's a lot of fear associated with it. It is due to past experiences. It is due to conditioning, that you have to use your money carefully. You cannot be spending. And all my life my mom kept saying, you are a spendthrift, and I continue to be a spendthrift. Today I tell myself, no, I'm wise with money. Then another thing that we keep saying is, I किसी और का पैसा इसको बहुत संभाल के इस्तेमाल करना है. इतना कि when I was consulting with a realtor and a real estate developer, I used to sit on the Excel sheet and the expenditures with a magnifying glass, and he was like, "What is wrong with you? Don't be a miser. Go out and spend. This is my budget for marketing. Please spend my money." So these are the kind of restrictions that are there in your mind, and you're breaking these shackles. A beautiful word in access is bring down the barriers. Barriers down, barriers down. Somebody's going to think, thankfully this thing is in my ear even when I'm driving, because a lot of times I say my prayers aloud and I say these things aloud. People would have thought it's a moron at the wheel, but because I'm talking so much to myself. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Thymus gland, run. Yeah, thymus exercise, run. Lani. And also the funny part is that a lot of times I mess up the words because, like you, I wonder how you're rattoing all of those clearings. Each time I have to say, please write this and send it to me. So it is every moment you are choosing awareness, every moment you're choosing to stay in your spiritual realm. And another thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to take 2 seconds more. In nature, in Buddhism, we believe that earthly desires are the path to enlightenment. Access has taught me to rightfully fight for all my earthly desires. Of
You're the
course, I
most
want all
valuable
of this.
product of your
What's all
reality.
of this? Yes, I
Yes.
am.
Yes.
Most
Uh,
important thing has been choosing me.
wow. Thank you for this, Shilpa. It opens up a doorway for plethora of energies for everyone who will watch this in the future. Uh,
Who feels it?
I'm filled with gratitude and joy, and I don't want to cry right now. Okay.
So overwhelmed.
Yeah. Thank you because coming from a person of your stature and the kind of influence also you have on different people, being a celebrity will contribute to more consciousness on the planet. And that was
Oh, I'm
something
so
that
happy to
I
hear
was,
that.
yeah, that was something I was desiring to take this episode to, that let's spread more consciousness on the planet. And who better to begin with
Yes,
you,
yes.
Sukhat? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think it has been
Thank you.
amazing, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes where we've landed, but it,
Really?
it's joyful. Yeah,
But I
it's
hope we've covered everything because we
well,
as friends would just go jabbering about so
yeah, we
much, and
do.
I hope we've really actually contributed.
Yeah, but if you have anything else to say, Shilpa, more than welcome. If you feel I've not touched
Yes.
upon anything
To
and something is showing up, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'd only like to say that, each time I'd say that, um, so okay, let me just make it very simple. From the age of 24, every decade has thrown a very difficult phase, of that decade in my life. So from 24 to nearly uh 29, 30, I battled my mother's illness. I lost my father at 29. Then 30 to uh 40 came other relationship challenges, and all on all fronts with friends, except with my partner, I think, that my husband. They came up so much, and there came challenges. I won't say difficulties only. Then from 40 to I'm 47 now, these 5, 6 years, we all were in the COVID boat. And that brought another, humongous uh, challenge to me as a person, as a mother, as a wife. And when I say as a person, to myself, um, I would proudly say that, I don't like the word survived. I lived. And I'd say, like, and how. I think mine will make a good autobiography if anybody cares to read it. But it may seem like, oh, ye bhi ho gaya, phir because ours is a very picture perfect life from the outside. I I believe in the saying that, sometimes you have to let the fool think he's fooling you so that you can fool him. Social media is like that to me. It never does justice to a person's growth as an individual and as a human being. So, and I'm not very keen on letting people see my growth on that front. I'd like them to believe that yes, I'm happy, but had my share of challenges, like anybody and everybody has. But I'd say again, I'd repeat myself. I didn't only survive. I lived my life and I've lived it well. In spite of each this decade that I'm talking to you about, each time I thought, oh gosh, dealing with my mom's cancer was the most difficult thing in my life. Then came the 30s. Then came something else which became even more difficult, and the 40s became even more difficult. But today I'm not afraid of my 50s because I
Thank you.
know I can make it
Thank you for that.
if
And
I choose to.
up until now, destroy and uncreate pod and fog wherever we got stuck in that time zone, space, dimension, reality, right? And
Yes, yes.
keep moving forward and pod and pog, all of that.
Thank you.
And
So that was part of
eventually,
my
I think,
experience. We tend to look at it like,
yeah, let's welcome the 50s, 60s, 70s, and who knows up till when with these joy glory. That's what we are choosing
and not just Steve's
momentarily.
joy glory. We're going to be the beautiful one, which is beautiful bitch.
The
That's why looking
bestest
forward
bitches
to the
on the
50s.
planet. We choose to be that.
After Sabrina, we are the friendly ones, and I really wish there was a broom around with the Mumbai traffic, but unfortunately,
You talk of that every time, the
that's
first
how it
thought that
is.
comes to me, I am riding on that broom and you are the pillion. मुझे हमेशा वो आता है
Absolutely. That's why I loved Harry Potter. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
so amazing, Shilpa. So, final thoughts before we close down? Anything?
yes.
Anything you
From
have
you.
to say?
From me
Yeah,
again. I
from
thought
you.
it
Today
must
is
be
all
tiring
about you,
listening to me.
darling. Today is all about you.
No, I'd say that, you've given everything for a reason. You find your purpose and find beauty, benefit, and value in it. Ask yourself the right questions, like how access leads you to, that is a phenomenal change that I have adapted, accepted also. I'm a tough nut when it comes to accepting certain things. I can see them, but I cannot accept them. No, I've asked myself the most difficult questions because of access. And each time you say what is so right about this, you are seeing what is so wrong about this. And that's when you turn and say, oh, this is right about it. So let's not make it a fight. Why can't there be ease, joy, and glory? I don't want to look at it as a battle that I survived. I want to look at it as a beautiful life that came with lots of ease, lots of joy, abundant glory that I am blessed with. And to say that I lived and lived well, not survived. That's not my word.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. How
Contribution,
much we've
contribution,
spoken. I hope we don't
contribution.
bore people.
No, we will not. People will choose what they
Yeah.
have to choose and whatever it will contribute to. Gratitude
Yeah, and I'm
for being a
really
part of
looking
my
forward to
day.
hearing. Oh, my pleasure, and so much gratitude to you too. But I'm really looking forward to feedback on our conversation, and let's have more of these, more and more,
Yes,
and never enough.
absolutely. Yes, see, you are so amazing with the tools. I love it.
Now you know how I think.
Yeah,
Yes, my words. I would never be negative in my words earlier, but now this has taken it to a different level.
to a different level. Yes, yes. We keep choosing, we keep
Yes,
creating. Determination, choice, change, and action. Yo, baby, we
yes.
go. Yes. On that note, I love you so much.
Cracking.
You
I
are
lost
so
you there.
loving,
We
caring,
lost a little bit
nurturing
of
your
network.
way. And
I love you
see
more,
you soon.
and I love you back.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude. So much
Bye
gratitude.
bye. Bye bye.